Hi everybody, it's Shelby. Today I'm going to show you how I do the coloring for my background base color. And today I'm using my colorless blender, my B quadruple 0 for the sky, and E30 for the sand. I picked a wonderful image from Make It Crafty called the beach and also printed it out on the Make It Crafty blending paper. The first thing you're going to want to do is grab your colorless blender refill and the Q-tip and get the end of the Q-tip relatively wet with the colorless blender and start laying down the colorless blender onto the sand area. As you can see, I'm not too concerned about the colorless blender either getting onto the seashells or into the water since it doesn't matter, since the colorless blender will evaporate and dry. I'm not too concerned about getting it on the other things. The next thing you want to do is take a Q-tip and soak the end with the E30 and start laying it down on top of the colorless blender. As you can see, I'm not trying not to get it onto the seashells because I don't want my seashells or my water to be E30. As you can see, as it goes down, you're not seeing the marks of the Q-tip, even though the color isn't exactly perfectly even across, but then again, nothing in nature is perfectly colored, especially if sand in the sky. So for me, it's not overly important that everything is completely equal across. I'm more concerned about not having the brush marks from the copic markers, which drives me bonkers. So here I've gone in with my E30 to get in between those seashells to lay down that base color with my E30 copic marker. Sorry about my hand in the way. Wasn't paying much attention, but once I pull it away you'll see that I've colored in there. Next I'm going to do the sky. The same thing as with the sand. I'm going to lay down quite a bit of the colors blender into the paper. You don't want your paper soaking wet, but you don't want it overly dry either. So I'm pretty generous with putting down the colorless blender. It's not going to harm if you put too much down. You'll notice if you didn't put enough down, as you'll see brush marks from the Q-tip that you may or may not like. And also keep in mind, if you don't like a brush mark either with your pen or with a Q-tip, once you've put down the B quadruple 0, you can go back and smooth that out with additional colorless blender. And you see, I finally figured out to get my sausage fingers hand out of the way so that you can see that I'm laying it down. And as you can see, the colorless blender is not equal and perfect in all the areas on the paper, which wasn't going for on this one. What happens if you don't put down colorless blender equal across is that you get more of a misting effect of your sky. So if you look at a blue sky but there's no clouds in the sky, but you can see different shades and different depths of the blue in the sky, that's what happens. That's how you get that effect when you're doing this technique. Is leaving some areas with less colorless blender in it. So again, being really generous with the inks. They'll dry, it's a light color, so it's easy to go back in and add more colors or add additional layer of the B quadruple 0. My goal is to just get that base color down and not have noticeable brush marks. And you can see how everything isn't perfectly even, but it's looking really natural and how you might see a sky. So Dory, if you happen to be listening to this, you asked me how I got that look. That's how you do it. Now I'm going back in with my marker to get behind that land mass or the little island and along the edge of the sea or the ocean, whatever you'd like to call it. And there you have it. That is what it looks like in doing the Q-tip and the colorless blender. and not having brush marks. So thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it.